and good morning, Facebook and LabCoatAgents. This is Felix Hung. I'm one of the moderators for LCA, and I have the pleasure today of talking to Renae Gibson of Keller Williams in the Houston, Katy area about how to pick the right agent when you need a referral partner across the country. So Renae is a top producer in the area, and she sends and receives a lot of referrals. And Renae, can you elaborate on why this is such a passionate topic for you?
Yes, thank you for having me today. I appreciate LabCoatAgents and all the value in so many ways that they bring to not only myself, but agents all over the country. A referral partner is critical because you know someone that's moving to Houston. I eventually am going to know someone that's moving to your market. And instead of the consumer blindly just hitting buttons and just hoping for the best, when they already know, let's say they reach out to me and say, hey, do you know someone in the Manhattan market? I can honestly say I do. I've worked with them. I've given them referrals. I've gotten great reviews on them. I know their personality, and I know what they're going to be able to do for you. And so immediately the consumer has that connection of, oh, great. Renae knows them and trusts them, and I know her and trust her. And it makes for an easier relationship to get going when they start shopping for a new home in another city. And it just gives that comfort level. And, you know, I still stay in contact between the client and the referring agent, not where I am holding my thumb over them, but certainly staying infused in the process to make sure everything's going smoothly, that, you know, they're happy and that everything's going well so that they get the best home for the best price. And it just makes for a smoother move.
All right. So we talked before we went live here. So when I was a brand new agent, I was at a big franchise, and it took me 3 years before I had a successful referral transaction. So I'd like to hear how you would have fixed me when I first got started, because I sent out about 5 referrals. People always talked about sending and receiving referrals, and it didn't work out for me because I literally went to my company website. I just found a person and there was some reviews, and I just sent the referral, sent the form, and then I never got paid. So what did I do wrong?
Well, you didn't do anything wrong. Everything's a learning opportunity, and we grow as we go. Mm-hmm. And so this is what I have done to be successful. First of all, I don't get brokerage specific. I do love my brokerage. Having said that, I make sure any city that I'm referring to, that I'm choosing who I think the best agent is for that particular client. They may have a great agent, but they may not be a great fit. You know, we all have different personality types. And if someone needs to be bottom line, I'm going to look for a high D. If someone is very analytical, I'm going to look for that personality type that loves the spreadsheets. Me, oh, not so much on the spreadsheets. But having said that, you know, you want to pair the right people. And I don't do referrals with people I don't know. I'm not picking blindly. I travel all over the country to various events, and that could be for a Keller Williams event. It could be for a Zillow event. It could be for a Tom Ferry event. It could just be a girls' trip that was planned with different agents. And then we go into that city and meet. We just did that in Fort Lauderdale. We had someone from San Francisco, Dallas, of course, me in Houston, and then Knoxville. And we went to Fort Lauderdale and Miami, and we pulled out what we thought was the best of the best. Mm-hmm. And we had lunch with them. We talked about their business, how things were going in their market. And so I'm super confident now when I refer agents in Fort Lauderdale or Miami. I have great choices to give based on, you know, the consumer's personality profile. And so what I think we can all improve on are relationships. It doesn't have to be face-to-face necessarily. You know, you can meet someone through a Zoom. You can stay in contact through private messages. You could watch someone like me, just follow me on Facebook. I guarantee you, if you follow Renae the Realtor, you're going to feel like you know me because I'm genuine. I put a little bit out about Houston real estate. I put a little bit out about women's health. I put a little bit out about my Chihuahua, the love of my life. And so, but more importantly, I put a lot out about my heart, and I want to work and refer with agents that are all about, you know, leading with their heart. And so that's the most important thing. And when people are giving a referral, I think it's a disservice to everyone if you don't know them. If you haven't talked about their business and their goals and their life, and if you ask every person on this earth, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? You'd be surprised at how you connect, because probably something unfortunate has happened and something amazing and wonderful that you could never believe has happened. And you just really get to know about them and how they lead in their community. So I think it's important to get to know the agent in whatever, you know, forum you're able to do so.
Wow. So I think we're getting into some really good stuff here. And you mentioned about personal experience, and you mentioned about really connecting and matching the consumer to the referral partner on the other side. I really like that. I definitely didn't do that my first 2 or 3 years. I literally found someone for convenience reasons. I said, well, they're looking at in this place, so I guess your office is really close. I guess you're a good partner. So I didn't do any of that matching. So you said something that I wanted to really dive deeper on. You said, well, I've met them. I've talked to them. I know these agents. So walk me through that process. If you don't know a referral partner through Tom Ferry organization and Keller Williams and
Or EXP.
or
Sure.
Zillow, or so how would you vet an agent out if you didn't know them? You said through Zoom and virtual. So can we walk through that?
Yeah. And so social media is the greatest thing that has ever happened to all of us. Like, hooray for Facebook. I hope it never leaves. So let's say I add a friend, right? I added one from Compass today. I've been watching Compass closely, and sort of, I watch all brokerages to kind of see who they have, what they're doing, what they're producing, what their newest technology is. You know, I want to stay on top of our industry to make sure that I am giving the best service I possibly can. And that relationship that started today is going to evolve over time. I'm going to eventually watch their page, kind of look at their production, see what maybe marketing that they're using that could be helpful in my business. You really have to focus on getting the relationship whatever way that you can. And so especially when they're in another city, after I've watched their page, gotten to know them, I may comment on their page about, you have a Chihuahua? I have a Chihuahua. Jeanette Spinelli in Austin has the cutest little dog, and she has like a wardrobe for her dog. Look at her page. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen. And so we've made a very deep connection, you know, on our pets. And she is a boss lady. She's amazing. And so that's what I do. Like, I get to know them through social, and then I start talking to them, you know, and then like I'll have phone calls with them and say, hey, tell me, your numbers just doubled this year. Can you give me some advice on how I can do the same and maybe spend a little less than you are right now, right? Because marketing has become quite expensive in real estate. And thank God for LabCoatAgents, because they always put out resources, vendors, ideas. You know, you're not having to recreate the wheel necessarily. So if you don't have strong brokerage support, God bless LabCoatAgents, you know, they're neutral and they're just there to offer help. So I just think it's super important to stay connected. You're doing a disservice to your own community if you aren't getting to know other agents and what they're doing and how they're contributing and offering. Because in the end, I do believe that it's all about giving the consumer the finest service we possibly can and becoming a part of their lives well after the transaction.
I absolutely agree with you. And you touched base on some of the ancillary benefits of great referral partners. You asked your friend in Austin about how she was doubling her business, and you got to mastermind with her and you got to learn from her. And those are some of the great ancillary benefits of doing this. I think, and when I hear agents trying to build a referral network, they simply just want a handout. They just want the incoming referrals without that friendship and that partnership. And I love that you have all of that going for you. So I can already tell that you're a great referral partner in your area. And I bet you give and receive a lot of referrals from how you're getting this going. And I'm with you. Whatever is best for the consumer is what's best for myself and what's best for you. And I think that's great that you have that. Last 4 referrals that our team went and gave out was Sotheby's, Keller Williams, Independent Brokerage, and EXP. It's not about a specific brand. It's about the fit. So I love that. Would you mind sharing like 1 or 2 like personal referral experiences, one receiving and maybe one that you've given out, on how you match the personality types? And like, can we get into like some of the details? Like this is why I picked this agent in this area. I know 5 agents in Manhattan, and this is why I did this. Can we do that, one on each side?
Yeah, sure. So I will say that Elise Guthrie out of the Dallas market, she got to know me on social, or at least she felt like she did, right? Mm-hmm. And she had a client that was relocating here. The husband worked for the FBI, so he was very direct and matter of fact, and bottom line, loved him. And the wife was very touchy. Let's have a hug. You know, I love everybody, and I'm so proud of my dining room. And so I knew, and by the way, Elise is also very huggy and sweet. She's become one of my best little friends. But we talked at length. I did not call the client until Elise and I had the conversation about the client, about their personality profiles, about their timeline. I don't just blindly jump in and call and say, hey, it's Renae, hire me. No one loves that. They can hire anyone. They want to feel connected to you immediately, and they want to feel like you will do the job that they're hiring you to do, and do it very well. And so after we had that conversation, I made the contact. I got them into a luxury waterfront home. They were in New York. And so I would go to the house, I would take pictures, I would take videos, I would do weekly calls of, how are you feeling? The feeling conversation was with the wife. And, you know, she's like, I'm stressed and overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, what can we take off your plate? And so we successfully closed them, I'm proud to say. And by the way, and it's a long story, but the builder wasn't ready to release the keys. And the mover was ready to release their furniture onto their front lawn. I put on a pair of shorts and a pair of tennis shoes, and I rushed over to their house, and I was prepared to not only, you know, do physical things to the movers if I had to, but, you know, to help move their stuff into the garage so nothing got wet. And from that, you know, Elise and I have become extremely tight, and not just on real estate. That's what I want to critically drive home about finding a real estate referral partner. We haven't had a referral since. I'm sure we will at some point, but in the meantime, she calls to check on me. She sends me cards. I text her. We check on each other to make sure, hey, you doing okay? You holding up? You're working 14 hours? Make sure you get a little rest. And so we genuinely care about each other. And, you know, a referral that I have given out, and I've given a lot, but I'll use Jenny Weimert in Orlando, who opened her own brokerage, as an example. And I met her she and her husband through a Zillow conference. And again, this went back to not brokerage specific. I just think she's an amazing human being. And, her team, they're like lollipops and sunshine. Who doesn't love that? And so when I get a client that's moving to Orlando, and they need that nurture and care and warmness, I know that she's going to do a great job. And not that there aren't other wonderful agents in Orlando. And there are many times that in any city, I will mention 2 agents so that, they have an opportunity to interview. I want to drive that home too, just to say, let's say I was named on a referral board, Renae Gibson, hey, please pick up the phone and let's chat. Like, I am thankful that they refer me and that they trust me and believe in me, but I still want to have a chat with you to make sure that you feel like I'm a good fit, to stay in touch with you, to take care of the client and to get it closed. Here's the thing, you can give out a referral all day long, but if it doesn't get closed, the client's upset, the referring agent's upset. That doesn't do anybody any good. You need someone with a high close rate.
Yeah, and I learned that in my first couple of years also. So
Right.
yeah, you could give out referral forms and referrals all day long, but unless the person on the other side has great communication and can close, you don't get paid.
Well, and look how well you've done, right? Like, we all learn, as we go. And thankfully, there are so many tools for us to reach out in different forms to say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm amazed at the agents that will come back and say, have you thought about this? Have you tried this? And it's like, well, gosh, I haven't thought about that. And you know what? I think that's a brilliant idea. And it's just a great way. We never know everything in this business. Real estate, I've been in it for almost 18 years. It changes, it evolves all the time. And so it's so important to keep up and, to continue evolving with it.
Yeah, perfect. So any last thoughts that we haven't touched on that you just feel like we're missing that we need to add on here?
A thought that I would like to share with everyone is that I didn't build a referral network in a short amount of time. It is a process. It happens one relationship at a time, one conversation at a time. And so you have to be patient. They're building blocks, right? And every event that I attend, every comment that I make, every thank you card that I send out, it's a building block. So, it might be a slower process than what you realize, and yet it's still worth it in the end, because once you have someone in your corner, man, you're like that, you're gold. And you continue to earn that right to stay in their life and as their referral partner. But just so you know, I spend 4 hours a day minimum on social media, infusing myself, learning, growing, asking questions, and getting to know different agents. So if you want great referral partners, make sure that you plan for some time, maybe not 4 hours a day, but maybe it's a lot. So I hear. Every time I check my little phone app, it tells you, it's like, oh, you spend a lot of time on this Facebook app. But it's so important to my business, because my business is 100% from my sphere of influence and from my great referral partners. And that's just, you have to choose what works for you. If door knocking works for you, by all means, if it's safe to do that in your community, I encourage you to do that. Or if cold calling works for you, by all means do that. Those things were not in my groove, but what was in my groove was connecting to people and just getting to know them and genuinely caring.
Wow. Yeah, I can definitely feel and tell that. I can definitely feel that you care about the consumer, you care about their experience, and you also care about being a good friend and a good referral partner to the people that you're talking to. And on the other side, you're just not looking for a random agent to give your referral to. Yes, you want the referral to close, but you also want the consumer to have the best experience possible. And we're
Yes.
all in this industry together. This, especially the last year and a half, it's been a different twist, a different market that we have not seen. And I hope that we all support each other more. And I really liked a lot of the points that you made. And I hope you guys out there really got a lot of benefit from what Renae Gibson said. So remember Renae for Houston, guys, build the referral network, build the relationships like Renae's doing. She takes the time to talk about her Chihuahua. She takes the time to talk about how they're doing, to check in on agents across the country. Are we doing that? Or are we just looking for a referral to come in, right? So that phenomenal stuff. Renae, thank you so much for your time today and the knowledge that you shared with us, and the kind words you said about LabCoatAgents. Guys, we're here to help. We want to show you guys how to build a better business and not to make the same mistakes that we've all made in our careers, early in our careers. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. Renae, thank you so much. And if you
Thanks,
guys have a need in Houston, Renae Gibson.
Bye, y'all.